I'll do my best.
Listen up.
So listen up. I have a story to tell you, and then you're going to know why you're here. I think you already know why you're here, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Back in the late 40s, early 50s, some of you were on the mountain at this time. Some of you know what it was like in this area. A lady came here from Iowa. She started out as a nun. Her name was Clara Muxen. Miss Muxen came up to Artist Point. She was coming through. She was looking to go to Texas. Her mother was frail. She was getting older. She had a brother, and then Miss Muxen at one time had tuberculosis. So she was looking for a better climate. They were thinking of going to Texas, but they ended up stopping up here somewhere near Artist Point, Mount Gaylor, and she said, this is the place. This is the place that I want to build my school. Now, if you think of it back in the 40s and 50s, this area probably, this is quite a big deal to make a statement like that. But what she was doing was she looked around, she saw the poverty in the area, and she said, I want to do something to help these people. Now, she said in her mind, I don't know where she got it from, I don't know where she came up with her idea of a craft school. She also wanted to teach children and adults. She wanted to help get people out of poverty. So she had set up a thrift store, she helped with the shrine and the church over here, and she said, I'm going to build a school to help get people out of poverty. And she's going to call it the Craft School of the Ozarks. Okay? This woman came in basically by herself with her brother's money and a little bit of her inheritance. She was a school teacher. She happened to be, any of you that are in your late 50s or 60s and might be close to retirement, you can imagine she came here real close to 60 in frail health because she had tuberculosis. And this woman's going to walk up here on this hill and build this craft school. And basically, she's winging it. She's coming in. She's a strange woman on the mountain. She's a Catholic. And this area at the time didn't have a large Catholic population, I'm sure. And so all us, Baptists and Methodists probably thought, what's going on here? She came in, and she wanted to help everybody. It wasn't just Catholics. She wanted to help everybody. She wanted to help get people out of poverty. This was her goal. She wanted to help people. She wanted to teach them a craft they could make some money at. But this was her idea. And what an amazing idea for this woman who had started her life as a nun, went through in Chicago and taught for years, and came here, going to retire, and decides to do this. She started with $20,000 of her brother's money, asked for donations across the country, and started in on this mountain, this huge building, doing a lot of the work herself. Now, believe it or not, this is a woman who, from what I've heard, and what Vera Jean said, and other people have told me, that she actually poured the concrete, part of the concrete herself. And I wrote an article in Washington County Observer last week, if you saw it. I'm talking about I've got letters saying I helped pour those 60 bags of concrete for that front entrance we're talking about. And I prayed that the rain held because we would have lost everything. This woman I've got a couple of letters that Connie shared with me that says, now I've got a donation, I can go to the lumber yard. I can get drywall now. This woman was nailing it, and if you could see some of these doorways, you could probably figure out she was doing this. And no offense to her, but I can't get my door in because the bottom's very crooked. So she did this, and she pretty much did this with her own dream and with donations from across the country and a lot of good thoughts and prayers from people. Now, I don't know what you think about having a craft school here. I don't know what you think about the arts and crafts period. But I know a lot of people have put a lot of hard work into this place. I mean, Erin's been here teaching painting. Connie's done rug cooking. We've got the quilters. We've got all of these groups that come in here. And we have got to save this building. And people talk about me, oh, Becky's coming in to do this. Becky is a director, and a director means that you ask other people to help you, and you kind of have a vision for things. And that's what I've done. That's why you're here. Every one of you have some area of expertise that you could help me with. I am not, now I'm not above accepting money. If you've got $3 million, I'll be happy to put it into an endowment and keep the place running. I'll accept that. So you can write a check out to Ozark Folkways and I'll put it up there. But if you have a skill that you can help us with, maybe you have a couple hours that you could volunteer to help us with something here. You know, maybe you know some people who can get us some materials. That's what we're here for. That's what we're asking for. That's what I'm asking for. I know the history of this building, and I know that the spirit of Miss Muxen is still with us here because I know that Miss Muxen died before she finished this building. She finished pretty much the first floor. It sat vacant for years. Ozark Native Crafts took it over. When they left, we turned into a nonprofit, renamed it Ozark Folkways, and here we are today. But the mission all along has been to teach people, to have artists in here, to support the arts. That's what we're all about. And I think it's a vision worth honoring, or I wouldn't be here. You know, I was a volunteer coordinator at Circle of Life Hospice for 3 years. I loved the job, you know, and I left that job to come here because I kind of caught on to this dream. And I kind of pulled into what Miss Muxen started here and what Connie held on to for years here. And I believe in it. And I know that every one of you in the community, whether you're in Northwest Arkansas or whether you're in Winslow, or we got people in the UK on Facebook that follow us. And just to let you know, if you don't do Facebook, that's okay. But if you do, you'll understand this. I've been working so hard on Facebook with this little Ozark Folkways that we now have, as of last night, more members, more fans on Ozark Folkways than we have people in Winslow. We have 415 fans of us on Facebook and 399 people plus my donkey in Winslow. so that's a big accomplishment. But if it wasn't for the broader community around us and the local community, a lot of you are from the local community, we can't and we couldn't do it. Now I ask you here today because I wanted you to see what needed to be done. And I know, like I said, I know you're working people. I know you don't have a lot of money. You don't have a lot of time. And I'm not asking you to do for a lot of things for free. But I'm asking you to advise me if you can't actually hands-on volunteer. If you can't advise me, maybe you know somebody who could help us with materials. Maybe you could do the work for us. Maybe you could do it at a discount when I get some funds in. But I want you all to help us out because I believe that you all are here because you want to be here. And that you happen to be here in this place today and not at some other party that you'll be going to soon. Because you somehow are connected with us. And we're connected with you. And even if you can do no more than say prayers for us, give us good thoughts, call us occasionally, give us $30 occasionally, that's fine. I'm not going to ask you to do any more than you can do or that you're willing to do. So many people have done so much so far. So I'm asking you, with the sheets that you have there, all the projects on there, I want you to take a look at those now. And I want you to think if maybe in some way you could help us out with one of those projects in some way. And like I said, it doesn't mean you're physically going to do it. Maybe you could advise us, Michael. Maybe you could just tell us how to do it. If you'll just look at that and make a note on what that third line. You can do more than one project, but if you at least on one of those projects could help us in some way, even if it's calling me up and telling me where I can get supplies for this, if you'll write that down, just write down a note that you would be willing to advise me or help me, or you could, pay for that refrigerator in there, whatever that you can do. If you'll write that down and then print your name and your address on the bottom, then I'm going to give you a ticket and we're going to go ahead and draw in a few minutes for the $100 Bordino's gift certificate. I mean, you can get the gift certificate just for talking to me on the phone and encouraging me, okay? That's all I need you to do. Write your name by one of those projects. Tell me you can help me in some way. That's all I want you to do. And then when you do that, put your name on the bottom of it, and Arbor's going to pass out tickets, and we're going to draw for the $100 Bordino's, no strings attached, gift certificate. Okay? Take your time, look at it, let me know, and Arbor will come around with the tickets. Come on now, if this woman who's retired school teacher can pour concrete, somebody can help me out a little bit. Walk around, if they signed off on something, give them a ticket, they put their name on it, put it in the wall.
Painting? Yeah.
Put down that I'll drive you up here.
I got to tell you one last thing while you're working on that. One last thing. I want to show you all, anybody who's able or who wants to, I want to show you the second floor because I told you something. I said, Miss Muxen worked on this building. She put it together. It's got 3 stories on it. Now, if you want to see some projects, you're really interested in projects, wait till you go with me to the second floor. I'm not asking you to finish it out, but I can tell you that they dropped holes, they dropped electricity, they made places for boxes. Nothing else ever got finished upstairs. It was meant to be a classroom. It's beautiful. The work is beautiful, but it was left just the way she left it when she passed away. Miss Muxen died in 1966 of an aneurysm. And when she left, she deeded it to the nuns that were here. And then they, after a while, the building stood vacant. And then it was, the Ozark Native Crafts was able to buy it. Okay? So this is what's happened with this building. But anybody who's interested, I just want to take you and show you what's upstairs. It's amazing. It's amazing the thought and the intentions that people put into this work.
How much land exactly is here?
Connie, what is it? 7 acres? Are we on
Does it go
7?
back there?
10 acres, and it does slope back there. It sure does, Ken.
So you have a wonderful nature path.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Serious.
ma'am.
Anybody
About that,
else?
yes, absolutely. We have been talking about that.